Welcome to Philozenge. Today I'd like to use Darwin as a kind of springboard to talk about materialism as a philosophy in general. Now, most of the time when we think about materialism today, we're thinking about people who spend too much time in Walmart, gold diggers who are looking for the next diamond ring, things like this. And in fact, this might be a good place to start. You start with an idea like Madonna's Material Girl, right? I am a material girl. And you think about, what is the point of that song? What is she trying to say? And what she's trying to say is, all she cares about is the stuff, right? All she cares about is substance. All she cares about is things that have a material thing that she can touch. Don't talk to her about love. Don't talk to her about, emotions or destiny or any of this stuff that any of these ideas, abstract ideas that you can't touch, right? But Donna's saying, give me the stuff. Give me the ring. Give me the beautiful dress. Give me things I can touch. And this is what materialism, as a philosophy, that it's all about the stuff. That all there is stuff, and you can't go any further. So let's dive into that a little bit more, right? What is stuff? Stuff is physical stuff. Stuff that you can touch or you can see or at least you can measure, all right? That it's got 3 plus 1, it shows up in the 3 plus 1 dimensions, right? 3 plus 1 dimensions, width, height, length, and it occurs in time, all right? So a rock is a stuff. Our bodies are stuff. My liver is a thing. It's a stuff. It's got a material basis, right? So a materialist believes that all there is of this world is stuff. That this world is just made of the physical. And if you want to look for causes, you have to look toward physical causes. Okay, so two big scientific, or let me put that scientific in quotes, two big scientific theories in the past 1,000 years, which have led credence to this very old idea that it's all about the stuff. First is Copernicus. Copernicus, as you may remember, said that came up with the idea that the sun is actually the center of our solar system, and the sun doesn't revolve around the Earth. But he went further, and it was probably this second idea that really brought substance, if you will, to materialism, but also kind of shook the foundations of religion, even more so than that idea that the sun is the center. And that's the idea that all stuff in the universe is made of the same stuff. What he said was, the stuff that you find on the moon, the chemicals, the rocks, the stuff, the material things that you can touch, are the same things that you can touch on this Earth. And this Earth has the same stuff as planets everywhere, and our sun has the same stuff as suns everywhere, as the stars, right? What he said is the universe is all made out of the same stuff. Now, this is something that we accept as a given today, more or less. Why this was so earth-shattering was that we had a general idea back there in the 16th century when Copernicus said this. We had a general idea that, well, down underneath the Earth, there's this place called hell, and that kind of was made out of different stuff. It was kind of a metaphysical place. And up above in the heavens was this place called heaven. And, as you went through to get to that heaven, there were creatures that were made out of different stuff because they were angels, and so you could see through them, and they had a different kind of substance, and stuff ceased to be stuff. Okay, Copernicus said none of this is true. Stuff is stuff all through the universe. Then we have Darwin in the 19th century, who puts, another nail into the materialistic coffin. Well, or he takes the top off the coffin of material, whatever it is, and he says that not only is all the stuff, in terms of planets and rocks and things, all the same throughout the whole universe, but human beings are the same stuff as animals. Okay? Now, I don't want to blame everything on Darwin. I certainly don't want to blame materialism on Darwin. I think he loved his wife. He was probably a nice enough man. So we won't talk about Darwin in particular, but we'll talk about where materialism kind of spun off and was inspired by Darwin's ideas to end up where it is today. Okay? So a true materialist would take that initial idea by Darwin and say, yes, not only are we the same stuff as the animals, but all there is stuff. That is all we are animals. Now, we touched on this last week with the idea of Freud. Certainly Freud was into this materialism thing as well. He thought we were more or less just animals, and that these things called reason and this kind of socializing that we do were all kind of imaginary creations we did to kind of deal with this kind of amazingly crude and raw animal that we were. But of course, nobody has yet found the ego, the superego, and the id in the human brain. So that kind of materialism, at least Freud's kind of materialism, failed because you couldn't find these places in the brain that Freud was talking about. Now, let me just stop here for a second and say that materialism, we are talking about a philosophical theory. It has been neither proved or disproved. And let's talk about the advantages, too, to materialism. Hey, ibuprofen works, right? Medicine works in many ways. Don't get hit by buses, right? That's a general rule if you want to get through life without getting hit by a bus. Given that it's a philosophy, we can discuss its advantages and disadvantages, or how we feel about it. Now, we can take this from a number of different points. You can start maybe with a critique, and critique I mean agreeing with or disagreeing, a critique of pure materialism, that materialism is all there is. Are we really just stuff? Are these emotions that I feel just instincts? Are these ideas I have about God, or these ideas I have about feelings which I cannot see or touch, are these anything more than just the synapses, just nervous reactions in my brain, or something where a gene is firing off and communicating with some other part of my body, right? Am I just biological? Now, a second place you can go is a critique or reasoning through of, if I am not a wholesale materialist, how much of my life do I think has materialistic causes? And how much of my life is run, is determined, is guided by, is fooled with forces which I and no scientific entity has ever been able to measure. Now, this of course can include things that we think about, like that come to mind immediately, like a god, or supernatural forces, ghosts, or anything else. But it also has to do with things like your soul, right? What decisions are made, do you think, by your soul, and which decisions do you think are made by pure animal instinct, or by your genetic proclivities, right? Are you just doing this because this is something your father always did? I surf. My father surfed, and his father surfed before him. Therefore, I surf, right? Is this genetic? Or is there something about surfing which is beyond that which we can see or touch? But think about how much materialism has a role to play, and how much you do. You do? You do.